It's out how failure was often met with shame instead of compassion.
Mm.
And that's a critical insight, right? That reveals this cultural dynamic where maybe the intention is to push for excellence, but the side effect is it can stifle vulnerability. It can stop people from reaching out when they're struggling, turns mistakes into something deeply agonizing.
And crucially, it was really in adulthood that Nebi started to recognize, truly feel, the weight of unhealed wounds from before. Trauma from those childhood silences, maybe loss, or just the burden of never feeling like you measured up. It had followed him, silently shaping things. But he also acknowledges Ethiopia gave him powerful tools for resilience too, like patience, a really strong work ethic, and inner strength to endure.
Which brings up that really interesting question about the dual nature of culture, How can it give you such a strong foundation for getting through hard times, teaching perseverance, but at the same time, maybe inadvertently create the very things that make you hide your struggles?
Yeah, it's complex.
It is. It's like the same fabric that gives you strength can also have these threads of silence woven in, making it harder to find your individual path to healing sometimes.
Let's really lean into this part, what Nebiu calls the wounds of the past. He says something incredibly powerful, that trauma in Ethiopia is often hidden behind polite smiles and quiet endurance. That we're taught, be strong, don't complain, put on a brave face. But inside, he says, so many people, like him, are carrying these deep scars nobody sees.
And he gets specific about those scars, which I think is important. It paints a picture of real personal struggles. He mentions the sting of harsh discipline, the constant burden of poverty, the pain of seeing family sacrifice everything for you, or that crushing shame of not meeting cultural standards that feel impossible. And then there's the more universal stuff too, right? The pain of loss, of being misunderstood, being pushed into roles that just don't fit who you are deep down. These aren't just ideas. They leave real marks.
And he's incredibly courageous, I think, in revealing his own struggle. He admits, for years I carried these wounds silently. I believe strength meant pretending they didn't exist. This just speaks to such a common human thing, doesn't it? Especially maybe in cultures that value stoicism or keeping things smooth on the surface. It feels protective, but
it ends up causing more harm, right? And what's really fascinating, the big realization he shares, is this quote, "What is hidden grows heavier with time." That's such a critical truth for anyone carrying secrets or pain. Silence doesn't make it go away. It actually feeds it, lets it fester. His breakthrough, the turning point, was realizing healing could only begin when I gave the pain a name. Which means more than just acknowledging it. It means articulating it, understanding where it came from, bringing it out into the open. It's that psychological step of making the internal struggle external, giving it shape so you can actually start to deal with it.
okay, so moving towards the healing journey ahead, Nebiu makes another really strong point here. Healing isn't some Western idea. It's universal. It's a fundamental human need. He notes that in Ethiopia, traditionally, healing often came through deep faith, strong community support, the power of forgiveness. His own journey, his personal one, involved this really thoughtful process of blending those cultural values he cherished with what he learned through his own growth and self-discovery.
Right, and that transformation for him, it wasn't about erasing the past or forgetting the pain. It was about transforming pain into wisdom. That's a key difference. It meant actively unlearning that deep-seated belief that vulnerability is weakness. And instead, realizing really clearly that true strength comes from being honest with yourself, accepting your past, your struggles, your need for connection. It's shifting from being defensive to being self-aware and authentically powerful.
And this journey, it involved this dual process, which sounds challenging. On one hand, reconnecting with my roots, right? Honoring his heritage, understanding its strengths. But at the same time, it meant breaking free from the cycles that no longer served me. Those patterns of silence or shame or maybe unhelpful expectations, it meant forgiveness too. Not just for himself, but for others who maybe couldn't give more than they had. And ultimately, it was about choosing actively to build a new future. One not defined by trauma, but by hope.
Which brings us to a really important point for you listening right now. Nebiu really emphasizes this universal truth. It's okay to seek help.
Yeah.
It's okay to get out of our comfort zone and try new things that would help us heal. This isn't just a nice thought. It's a powerful call to action. It invites all of us to think about what courage looks like in our own lives. The courage to maybe acknowledge our own past wounds, step outside norms that might be holding us back, and actively seek out a path to healing that feels right for us. It's about giving ourselves that permission to find peace.
So wrapping this up, what does this deep dive into Echoes of Ethiopia really mean for us? Nebiu Daniel Belena's story, it's taken us through childhood, The laughter, the silences. Through adolescence, the dreams, the traditions. Through adulthood, the heavy expectations, the old wounds coming up. It's just such a testament to how our stories, even when they're rooted in very specific cultures, often echo these really universal human experiences.
Indeed. And Nebi's path from all those stages leads to, well, a profound destination. It's a journey towards becoming whole, towards genuine freedom, towards embracing the life he was always meant to live. It's such a powerful story of carrying my roots with pride, but walking forward with healing. It's not about rejecting where you came from, but integrating all of it, the good, the bad, the wounds, into a stronger, more compassionate version of yourself.
Yeah, this deep dive, while it's about Nebi's specific journey, it really does feel like a universal narrative. It invites us, to look inward, to consider our own paths. So based on everything we've talked about today, the weight of expectations, the power of silence, the bravery in naming pain, maybe think about this. What unspoken rule, or maybe hidden wound from your own past might you be ready to finally name? What part of your story are you ready to maybe start transforming into wisdom, blending your own unique background with a path towards real wholeness, real freedom?